Some of the yesterday's point we will repeat. He told, there are no parts in Brahman, hence it is unborn, free from limitations. It appears as if born, even as a snake born from a rope. Then the opponent asks, we see the individuals are separate. How the aggregates are manifested? Self is in the form of answer, the self is in the form of jivas, just as the infinite ether exists in the form of ether, confined within jars. Similarly, it is said to be existing as the aggregate of bodies. The Atman is not differentiated because it is subtle, partless, all-pervading. The Atman is not differentiated because it is very subtle, partless, all-pervading. Then the logicians and the followers of Sankhya say, according to the logicians, the Atman is subtle and partless. And the atoms, not Atman, sorry, the atoms are subtle and partless. And in Pradhana, he says it is very subtle. The reason given for Atman is seen in logic as well as the followers of Sankhya also. So, the definition that you have given for the Atman, subtle, partless and all-pervading, is not correct. That's what he says, the opponent. And today's subject is very subtle. He refutes the logicians and the Sankhyas. That much today's portion. For easy understanding, first we will read the text of Bhashya and translation. Then we will go to the sub-commentary. I thought this is the actual procedure. In that way I am explaining. First we explain the sub-commentary, then we go to the commentary. But in that way you get confused, because in sub-commentary so many things are told. That's why today I thought first we will try to explain the commentary, then we will go to the sub-commentary. So through sub-commentary, the commentary will be again explained, so that it may be easy for you to understand. So the answer he gave, the differences, they agree as real in the relative plane is not correct. The differences of the followers of logic and the followers of Sankhya, which they agree as real in the relative plane, is not correct. The process of aggregation is only imagination. We say just as ether in the part. If a part breaks, the space in it becomes one with the ether. So also the individual souls become merged in the self here. So no creation, so no dissolution. Birth and death is due to limitations. That was the answer given. Only one Atman is there in all the bodies. Now the opponent is asking, one Atman is there in all bodies. how to follow the rules of moral conduct or moral observations, which you call dharma, virtues and vice, are the actions which are enjoined by the scriptures in relative plane. See the question, first he quotes the absolute, then immediately comes to the relative. In the relative plane, if one Atman is there, how to act, how to observe the rules. If one self is there, then Kriya Phala Sankaryam occurs. If one self is there, if somebody acts, somebody did some action, only one self is there. The fruits may go to other self, because individuals are separate. Mixing of actions and the results may occur. Kriya, Phala, Sankarya. Sankarya is mixing, Kriya is actions, and Phala is fruits. If one jiva is there, then happiness, etc., goes to other jivas also. One feels happy, and that happiness will be going to others. If one Atman is there, then there should be happiness in all, or grief in all, should be there in all. So, he says, this oneness of Atman is illogical. That is, the opponent has told. So now we will see how he answers. ఇక్కడ అయిపోయిందా? So we will start from page 402, but just for connection, यदि एक एव आत्मा तर्हि सर्वत्र सुखी दुखी च स्यात्. The previous 401. If the self is but one, it will be happy or grief-stricken everywhere, in everybody. Nacha idam sankhyachodyam sambhavati. Two opponents are there. They say the cause of creation is very subtle. You also say the Atman is very subtle. So you have defined Atman, and it is defining the cause of followers of logic as atom. So you have defined an Atman, but the Lakshana is going to somewhere else. The cause of Sankhyas are the cause of followers of logic. First, he wanted to refute the followers of Sankhya. That's why, Nacha idam sankhyachodyam sambhavati. The followers of Sankhya say the cause for creation is pradhana, which is having three gunas, and they say only one Purusha is there, but individuals are many. Pradhana will be giving liberation to the individuals. Pradhana means illusion, you can say. And to some it gives happiness, bhoga. Nahi sankhya atmanaha sukha dukkhadimatvam icchati. Purusha and Prakriti, he says. The Purusha, which he says, is non-attached, and there is no happiness and sorrow. Nahi sankhya atmanaha sukha dukkhadimatvam icchati. He is not accepting the happiness and sorrow in the Purusha. Buddhi samavaya abhyupagamat. This is the difficult point. Says this, whenever something is going to happen, the individual Purushas are there, they are having different selves, and whenever he wanted to get a knowledge, the self is getting attached to the mind. Buddhi samavaya apyubhagamat sukha dukkhadinam. He says in Purusha there is no happiness and sorrow. Then how the individuals are feeling happiness and sorrow? Because the mind get attached to the self. This is the point of controversy both in Sankhya and the followers of logic. To refute this, he takes very long discussion. Nacha upalabdhi swarupasya atmano bedha kalpanayam pramanam asti. He says, we know that Atman is there, and it is already, we got it, prapta, upalabdhi. Nacha upalabdhi swarupasya. The Atman is everywhere in each and everybody. So, in that, bheda kalpanayam pramanam asti. You accept the differentiation, different selves. For that there is no proof, he says. For that there is no proof. Now 2 points which go against Vedanta. He says, mind gets united with the Atman to get a knowledge, which we never accept. Attach it to Atman. It gets union with the Atman. Buddhi samavaya abhyupagamat. And he accepts many selves. The question cannot arise from Sankhya. The followers of Sankhya system, for he does not admit the happiness, sorrow, etc. of the self. Purusha. Since he considers happiness and sorrow as belonging to the intellect, Buddhism. Besides, there is no authority to show that the self, which by nature is conscious, has any multiplicity. In the self there is no multiplicity. To accept the multiplicity, there is no proof. Now this we will explain through the sub-commentary. Though the self is one, imaginary differentiations are there. The administration are following the rules in the relative plane. In the phenomenal world, cannot go on. They cannot take place. See, you are telling the self is one. This is the question put by the opponent. Self is one, differences are imaginary, then how the phenomenal dharma, virtue and vice following the rules of the administration will go on. If it is the question of Sankhya, or it may be the question of logician, first we want to refute Sankhya. Sub-commentator says, Nacha idam sankhya chodyam sambhavati. That is in the text. Sankhya refutes one Atman and accepts different selves. Or different Atmas. The Atman, different selves is. He cannot accept like that because there is no proof for that. To accept different Atman, different self, there is no proof. Now a word is coming, Bheda abhave pradhanasya. It says, there is no differentiation in your cause that is pradhana. Sankhya accepts pradhana is the cause for creation. Pradhana is nothing but illusion. But he says it is having three gunas. Whereas we never accept any gunas in the Atman. Quality, guna means quality. We say it is formless and qualityless. Nirguna nirakara, we accept. Bheda bhave pradhanasya pararthya anupattiriti chet. Bheda abhave. He is not accepting the differentiation in the cause called pradhana. Then it cannot help others. Pradhana cannot help others. Why he is telling? Because the followers of Sankhya accept that the pradhana will be giving the enjoyship to some of the selves and realization to other selves. That means pradhana is undifferentiated and it is accepting different selves. After creation you may say whatever it may be. Parathalpapatti. So, if pradhana is undifferentiated, it cannot help others. Nacha pradhanakatasya arthasya atmani asamavayat. First what he told, our Purusha, our Atman, is not having happiness and sorrow in it. That he has declared. Now, na pradhanakatasya arthasya. It wanted to release some of the souls. It wanted to give enjoy. Atmani asamavayat. What that pradhana wanted to do, these things cannot be there in the Atman. Yedhi pradhana krito bandho mokshavartha purusheshu bhedena samavaiti. And if you ask different selves, and the pradhana is giving to some only joy, they are bound, and to some it is giving release, moksha. If you accept the different souls, different selves, then pradhana can give to some joy and some the moksha. Pradhanasya parathyam atma ekatve nopapadyate. If only one self is there, the pradhana cannot help others. He accepts that pradhana will be giving happiness or bhoga, the enjoyment to some of the selves, and release to some of other selves. But if only one Atman is there, no different selves, then what pradhana will do? It cannot liberate, it cannot give joy to anybody. That is telling. Pradhanasya parathyam atma ekatve nopapadyate idi yukta purusha bheda kalpana. But according to his idea of the Sankhya, because he says Pradhana is helping so many people, so many selves, giving joy and giving liberation, he has to accept the differentiation in the self. Many selves are there. Parathyam atmekatve iti yukta purusha bheda kalpana. The difference in the selves. Nacha sankhyair bandho mokshavartha purusha samaveto abhivagamyate. And again you see, what they say, that in that itself contradiction is there. First he says, our Purusha is not he is having happiness and sorrow. He is detached to everything. That means he is already released. And again he say that the Pradhana will be releasing somebody and giving happiness to somebody. So that he is pointing. Nacha sankhyar bandho mokshava artha purusha samaveto abhipagamate. They don't accept that the self is having happiness or sorrow. Nirvisheshasya chetana matra atmano abhivagamyate. And there is no quality in the self. It is only pure consciousness. In that way they accept. Atmano abhivagamyate. Atmanaha is singular here. So, the Purusha or the Atman, what the Sankhya is accepting, and it is one, no qualities in it, and it is only pure consciousness. First, he accepts a Purusha, self or Atman you may say, and Pradhana, the illusion. Afterwards what he says? The Pradhana will be giving release to Purusha. First what he told? It is only one. It is only pure consciousness, no happiness, no sorrow in it. And again he says the Pradhana will be releasing. What is this? Ataha Purusha satta matra priyuktameva pradhanasya parathyam. So we have to accept only because of the existence of the Atman as consciousness, it has to take support to help others. Natu Purusha bheda prayuktam. Then the Pradhana is taking the support of the self or Purusha, but for that you need not differentiate the Purusha. There is so many Purushas, you need not tell. Atha Purusha bheda kalpanayam na pradhanasya pararthi hetuhu. So, here what is the reason? The Pradhana is helping others. For that, if he accepts that there are many selves, it is not correct. Purusha bheda kalpana. Differentiation in many selves is not correct because the Pradhana is helping others. Now you can easily follow the commentary. If it is held that in the absence of multiplicity of Sankhya view, Pradhana acts for others, does not hold good. 402, second para, English. If it is held that the absence of multiplicity of Sankhya, multiplicity of the selves, that Pradhana acts for others does not hold good. Reply is that it is not so. For whatever is to be got accomplished by pradhana of others cannot be deemed inseparably connected with the self. He says it is not so. We are not accepting many selves. So, it is inseparably connected, he says. If any effect like bondage or liberation accomplished by pradhana inhered separately in the source, then the theory that pradhana acts for others does not go with the oneness of the self. Only one self is there, then pradhana cannot help others. If any effect like bondage or liberation accomplished by pradhana inhered separately in the source, then the theory that pradhana acts for others does not go with oneness of the self. If you accept only oneself, then pradhana cannot help others, only because oneself is there. Rather, the pradhana should take the help of the purusha, because it is inert. An inert thing cannot do anything by itself. But it has not been admitted by the Sankhya that any effect such as bondage or liberation can inhere in the soul. See, one side he says the pradhana is liberating, and another side he says in the soul nothing is there. Bondage or liberation can inhere in the soul. Souls are regarded as attributeless and as pure consciousness. He accepts. Therefore, purely the existence of the self goes to prove the theory of Sankhya that pradhana acts for others, but not multiplicity of the self. So what is that theory? Multiplicity is not accepting, but again he says pradhana is helping the purusha. First, the purely the existence of the self goes to prove, support the theory of Sankhya, the pradhana acts for the others, but not multiplicity of the self, they accept. Therefore, the fact that pradhana acts for others cannot be cited as a reason for assuming the multiplicity of the self. But they do accept. See, first they say only one self, purusha and pradhana. And he says pradhana has created so many individuals, and pradhana gives liberation to some and bondage to some. Pradhana. And at the same time, he is accepting the self is not in bondage or it is liberated. No bondage, no liberation in the self. So the controversy. If he accepts only one self, it is all right. If he accepts differentiation in selves, then his theory goes wrong. This is the gist by the commentator. Now, with the help of sub-commentary, we try to expatiate little.
Pradhana gives enjoyment or bondage and liberation. In Sanskrit, it will be bhoga and apavada.
Apavarga.
Bodha and apavarga.
Bhoga, apavarga is realization. Pradhana gives to some happiness, bhoga, and some others apavarga. So he accepts particular jivas, not general, not one. He is accepting many. So that it is not possible until and unless there is differences in purushas. You cannot say only one Purusha is there and it is liberating many people. How is it possible? So you have to accept the differentiation. When you say it is giving bhoga and aparvarga to so many. So, the Purusha is for others, giving happiness and liberation. So, instead of telling Pradhana giving, we have to say Purusha is giving happiness and because the Pradhana is not, how can it give liberation? So, different Purushas is proved. Differentiation in itself are there, it is proved. Why? Because after creation, Pradhana is liberating somebody, it is giving bhoga, enjoyment to some, and some bondage, all these things. If a difference is not there, Pradhana working for the others by giving happiness, moksha, by giving happiness, bhoga or apavarga moksha is not possible. So he has to accept the differentiation.
Now, bondage or liberation,
Huh?
bondage or liberation is
Huh.
basis for the Atman is on the mind, isn't it? So the mind is pradhana. It's not a quality
My-
of the mind, bondage or liberation.
You see, he accepts self separate and the innate pradhana separate. We say innate mind cannot act. But he is telling the creation of the innate pradhana is giving liberation to the and enjoyment. How is it possible? How an innate thing can create and give liberation to others? Previously, I have cited an analogy. You keep a car and ask it to bring the vegetables from the market. Without a driver, without a remote control, how it can go? That in the last sentence he says, see, Purusha Satta Matra Prayuktameva. Because of the existence of Purusha, the Pradhana works. So, here he is not telling about the mind or something else. He is directly taking the cause.
It doesn't work independent.
It cannot go on. See, in the very first place, we have told this fellow is a buffoon number one, Sankhya. Again and again he comes with questions. So first itself in Brahma Sutras, he has refuted Ikshaterna Shabdam because the Kapila, the great Rishi, he is not taking the support of Vedas. He has imagined something. And if he asks everybody to accept, how is it possible? You are having a particular idea in your mind. And if you say, everybody should accept this, what I say, is it possible? It is something like that. First, he is not taking the support of the Vedas. Second thing, he has imagined something. And the imagination is not correct. In one place he says that the self is only pure consciousness. It is not having happiness and sorrow or bondage. And an innate thing is going and giving liberation to that. How much contradiction you see? So, here he is not talking about the mind. We say the bondage and liberation in the mind. That is the imagination. So don't get confused with the Sankhya and Vedanta.
Swamiji, would it be correct to translate Apavarga as transcendence?
Transcendence, but he says apavarga as moksha, liberation.
He says it is moksha.
Moksha, apavarga. Because you see, in Kailas ashram, we are having a very big hall for Swadhyaya. And nearly nowadays, more than 100 students they sit. 120 also they can sit. But still few, they sit outside the veranda also. So, the division is there like this. So, there it is written, this is apavarga. This particular portion, whoever sits, is apavarga. And this, like this, many divisions. What are the divisions? In Kailas Ashrama, they wrote, you see, in the Swadhyaya hall. ఒక్కొక్క స్తంభం మీద ఒక్కొక్కటి రాశారు కదా అప్పుడు. That is unforced. And these pillars they have written. Apavarga, Rushivarga, something like this. Achha. So, apavarga there simply it is translated as moksha, liberation.
Even Merriam-Webster, the dictionary says, apavarga is the exemption from further transmigration, final beauty.
So it comes to, or you can say transcending the relative plane and going to the absolute. Transcending what? The relative plane, the duality.
It says exemption from further transmigration, final beauty.
Final. Now, as he told, what Pradhana says, that it is giving the bhoga and apavarga is not correct. And he says, the through Arthapati we can say, he says. Arthapati is a pramana. Previously we have discussed. The Devata is very fat, but he is not taking in the daytime food. That is Arthapati. So, the proponent says, in that way also you cannot say. That is, that because the self is in bondage, it is giving liberation. It is giving liberation. So through that proof also you cannot say, but we are telling the nutshell, he says. Yedi pradhan kruto bandho mokshavat artha purusheshu bhedena samavaiti. If the differentiation is there in the self, that it is helping others is acceptable. Because of the power of pradhana, in Purusha, some excellence is seen. He says, because of the power of pradhana, which is mere illusion. See, which is mere illusion. Pradhana is maya or prakriti. It is only illusion. Even if we accept the pradhana, because of the presence of pradhana, the self is having some excellency. This also you cannot accept. Excellency in the sense, pradhana giving liberation to self. That also we cannot accept. Apasiddhanta prasangat, because going against rule. How an innate thing can give release to other things? Then, if he says, Nacha Sankhyair Bandho Moksha Vartha Purusha Samaveto Abhiv Nirvisheshascha. And what is accepting? The self is without any bondage or liberation, it is only pure consciousness. Then how the question raises that it is giving liberation? For that he has to accept there are many selves. If only one self is there, it cannot be. And mainly telling it is innate and it is not accepting the scriptures, the commentator always refutes it, the Sankhya. They agree Pradhana acts for others and gets support from the Supreme. Pradhana accepts, Pradhana acts for others, giving liberation. All the time, they do not agree differentiation in it. So, these can be proved in other way. Now, before creation, there is no differentiation in Pradhana. 33 1/3. 33 1/3%. Sattva, Rajas, Tama. 100%. So, all are equal, he says. Now, if you say, Pradhana wants to create, creation comes up to Sattva Guna. So, in Pradhana, Sattva Guna has been increased for creation. Then the Rajas and Tamas have become less. And without Rajas and Tamas, how can you create a body? See. And in dissolution, if Tamas goes high, then there will be no further creation. So many discrepancies are there in that. So these can be proved in other way. Ataha Purusha Bheda Kalpanayam na Pradhana se Parartham Hetu. Pradhana helping others. Because of that you are accepting there are many different souls is not correct. Why? Purusha Sattam Atra Prayuktame Pradhana se Parartham Siddham. Because it is an inert thing, it has to take the support of a conscious being. And that conscious being is already liberated. Atman is always free. You yourself say, we are not telling. We Vedanta are not telling. We are not poking our nose in your philosophy. You say and you refute. The birth and death cannot be proved, so to accept another Purusha is not also correct. Say, you are telling the Pradhana is liberating some of the souls. There should be birth and death for the particular self. So you have to accept the birth and death. If you accept, now you say we are having a Purusha and it is pure consciousness and it is already liberated, no bondage and liberation in it is there. And for whom you are going to liberate, so you accept another Purusha. One cause is already there, Purusha and Prakriti. You have to accept another Purusha, which you want to liberate, the inert thing. Because birth and death in the individual different purushas only we can accept, not in one. Nacha. Nacha anyat purusha beda kalpanayam pramanamasti. Now we are going again to the commentary on 403. Anya purusha beda kalpanayam pramanamasti sankhyanam. The pradhana wanted to liberate somebody. One purusha is already there. They don't accept another purusha. Parasatta matramevacha etan nimitti kritya swayam badhyate muchyate cha pradhanam. The Sankhyas have no other authority to cite the support of their view of multiplicity of the self. To accept the multiplicity of the self, there is no proof from them. No support. The view that pradhana by itself gets into bondage or liberation on account of mere existence of the Supreme, and that the Supreme becomes instrumental in the function of pradhana by virtue of his existence, which is pure consciousness, but not owing to any speciality, least to the fact that the imaginary multiplicity of the self. Parasatta matramevacha etan nimitti kritya swayam badhyate muchyate cha pradhanam. Para is here the Purusha, Atman, oneself. He is accepting Purusha. Because of the very existence of that Atman Purusha, if you say the pradhana is going into bondage and it is getting liberated, parasatta matramevacha etan nimitti kritya swayam badhyate pradhana swayam muchyate cha parasya upalabdhi matra satta swarupena pradhana pravruttau hetur. So, the acceptance of Purusha is only existence. So, because of its existence, there is action or movement in the inner pradhana. Pradhana pravruttau hetu. What? The consciousness. Or the Atman. That or the Purusha which is accepting. Na kenachid visheshanena iti. But not through any other adjective. Visheshanena or any. Kevala mudhata eva purusha veda kalpana vedartha parityagasya. Now the commentator got little angry. He says, simply accepting the differentiated self is only foolishness, he says. And giving up the support of Vedas. Now you come to the English. Pradhana by itself gets into bondage or liberation on account of the mere existence of the Supreme, and the Supreme becomes instrumental in function of pradhana. As it is an inert thing, it cannot act by itself. It has to take the support of consciousness by virtue of his existence. This also we have previously discussed. Just by the existence of the teacher, all the students keep quiet. Otherwise, they will be making so much sound. The small children. Or you bring a cat and keep in your room, rat will not come. Even if many rats are there, they all disappear when a cat enters. Cat may not catch a rat, but if simply sits there, seeing that, rats will not come. That is the existence. So, with the existence of the self, the pradhana acts. So, by mere existence of the Atman, everything is going on. taking the help of Maya. This don't never forget. So in your case also, your pradhana should take, say, at least the reflection of the Atman. But not owing to the speciality leads to the fact that the imagination multiplicity of the self, as also the rejection of the meaning of the Vedas, is nothing but foolishness.
Swamiji, from all the systems of philosophy that appeared in India, as much as I know, Swamiji, the only system that accepts only one Atman is Kevala Advaita Vedanta, no other system.
It takes complete support from the scriptures. Says, Neha nanasti kinchina, there is no difference at all. Ekam sadvipra bahuda vadanti. In Brahma Sutras, the opponent asks, you see, you say always we accept scriptures. We take the support. You are not correct. Why? In one place you tell about creation something, in another place you tell about something else in the creation. Then the proponent says, we are not having any meaning in creation because it is illusion. We prove the cause that only one Atman, one self, one Brahman. You see in any Upanishad, what is the cause of creation? Only one. Sadeva Somidam agra asit. Ekam sadvipra bahuda vadanti. In any Upanishad you say. And even the Smriti, he says, Matta parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. Besides me, nothing is there. And he says, Vasudeva sarvam iti samahatma sudurlabha. Who sees vasayati sarveshu jiveshu ekarasena iti Vasudeva. One who resides in everybody is called Vasudeva. So to see the oneness is difficult, he says. Even Lord Krishna accepts. Oh, we are aham atma gudakesha sarvabhutashe sthitah. Aham, in the sense, not with, say, name and form. Because in the beginning itself he told, he has described Sankhya. That is, samyak khyayate aneniti Sankhya, not this Sankhya. That is, by which the existence of oneself is clearly explained. It's called Sankhya Yoga there. So don't get confused with this Sankhya and that Sankhya. When war is about to take place, and Arjuna has asked, I am in a dilemma what to do. Then what is the use of telling the oneness of the Atman? Nainam chinnati sastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha. To tell only, dear Arjuna, only one thing is there. Everything has been already dissolved. So why do you worry? Because he is not able to take that particular idea into the mind, because he is not a competitive student for jnana, then he says karma and karma yoga. So, in all the scriptures, we accept only oneness. But What are the others they do? They manipulate the meaning of the Bhagavad Gita and the scriptures. Previously also I told what the dualists say, or Visishtadvaiti, Tasya Tamasi, you belong to him, you are in it, from that you have come. That means difference. And not only this, Shankara clearly says, if you accept the self is not having birth and death, before creation, you have to accept the same thing after creation also. But as soon as you take the creation, as soon as you take the body, change your idea. Sambhavat Yatmaya. Ajopi san Atma. I am not having birth. And I never change. But taking the help of Prakriti Maya, I create. That clearly he says. 4-6. That is in him. Whenever he wants, he takes the support only during creation. Nacha anya purusha bheda kalpanayam pramanam asti. To accept another purusha, there is no proof. Besides, non-existence of proof, there is no utilization. No utilization. Utility. Our utility is not there in accepting another purusha. Para. Parasatta matrameva chayetan nimitti kutra. Only one thing is there. This illusion is taking the support of that, and it is becoming, it is in bondage and it is in liberation. Like that you have to say. Seeing the existence of Purusha and Pradhana, Pradhana is not functioning. Who accepts Ishvara, that is also based on the support of Purusha. Yes, they are not accepting Ishvara. Why you are not accepting Ishvara? He says, because it is supported by Purusha only. We accept Ishvara, that taking the support of illusion. But what he says, the Ishvara is taking the support of Purusha, so they are not different.
One point here I'm trying to clarify, because we are hearing again and again that Nirguna Brahman taking the support of illusion creates. So taking the support of illusion, in Advaita Vedanta there are two schools of thought, Vivarana and Brahmatika. And both of them are asking the same question. Where is the place of illusion? Where, in English, where is the locus of illusion?
Locus.
Where is it located? And because this comes again and again, taking the support of illusion, we say illusion itself is illusory.
Yes.
Then, in these two schools, Vivahan and Hamati, I don't know if I pronounce it correctly, Hamati, they deal with this question. What is the locus? What is the place of illusion? Where is it?
According to Vedanta, the Maya is not different from ignorance. He says ignorance is in the individual. Ignorance is in the individual. That's why he sees the difference. If the ignorance is not there, he is one with Brahman. Then no question of Maya, no question of ignorance. But the Bhamati is avacchinnavada, he says. Because of the adjunct, the limitation, he has become jiva, he says. And in the Vivarana Prasthana, they take as reflection or something. Reflection is not real. And in both the places, these followers of Advaita, mostly the Vivarana Prasthana, they say ignorance and Maya are not different. Then where is the ignorance? The ignorance is within you, that's why you are seeing the snake. Because the ignorance is within you, you are seeing the world. We never say that Maya is different from ignorance. We always say only one Atman. It may be general or particular. The particularity is due to ignorance, which is within you. So, in Advaita Vedanta, there is no difference. So, only one Atman and one ignorance, one Maya, and he says this particular illusion is not real. Why? When you realize your own self, the ignorance is not there. When you are in bondage, you feel it. In that way, they clarify.
On the same point, okay, we have Vishva and Virat.
Vishwa and Virat.
Yeah. Vishva is the individual physical body. Virat is the collective, like one tree and forest.
Hmm.
Similarly, we say Tejasa, Hiranyagarva, and so on. So now, going to the Vivana school,
Hmm.
which describes the jiva as a reflection.
Ah.
And then making this equation that either we speak about the jiva, and we say avidya, but also when we speak about maya, it's also avidya. But it says that where is the locus, where is the place of avidya or maya?
It is, as previously told, it is supported by the self itself, and the same self removes it when you realize. So, the locus is Atman. Only one Atman we accept. So, it is supported by it and it is negated by it.
So we can determine that the locus is Atman.
Atman.
So when he says the avidya is in the individual, some commentators
Hmm.
talk talk about collective avidya. Is it correct to say collective avidya?
This is Maya.
Collective avidya will be Maya.
Maya.
So, individual avidya is in relation to the jiva. Collective avidya is in relation to Ishvara.
But both are superimposed.
Both are super.
So only one self is there.
So it's equal.
This.
And last thing on this, which is, they say that Nirguna Brahman in association with Shuddha Sattva, with pure Sattva,
Becomes Ishvara.
becomes Ishvara. But in the jiva, it's not Shuddha Sattva,
No. Malina Sattva.
Malina, impure,
Impure.
mixed.
Mixed.
So, although this is ignorance, and that is ignorance, there is a minute distinction here. How do we explain it?
In Ishvara, the illusion is under his control. Whereas in the Jiva, is controlled by the ignorance. This much of difference is there.
That's why our 10th Pontiff used to say, Jiva can never become Ishvara. It can, when he realizes he becomes one with the Brahman,
But not Ishvara.
because it doesn't have the power of creation, sustenance and all this which Ishvara has.
Because it is under his control. He can do. This is same thing, it comes in the Brahma Sutra of the last chapter.
More qualities, Ishitva, Vibhutva, and these are the three qualities which Ishvara has, and these are the three drawbacks which Jiva has. Alpakyatva, Simitatva, these are the three drawbacks which Jiva has, and three qualities which Ishvara has.
What are the two drawbacks that jiva has?
Alpatva, Agyatva means he is not
Ignorant.
ignorant, and Alpatva means he is limited in junction with the body, and there was one third one.
Limited to the time or something, exactly we don't remember.
Limitation of time and space.
Maybe. There was one third one, I remember. The Ishvara has three qualities, which is Vibhutva. Vibhutva means all pervading. Ishitva means he can control everything. Shasana, Isha Shasana means he
Ruling.
can control, ruling. These are the three qualities which Ishvara has, and these are the three drawbacks which Jiva has. That was our 10th Pontiff used to say, that Jiva can never become one Ishvara.
He can become one with Brahman.
Yeah, these are the differentiating qualities of the Jiva and Ishvara. As Swamiji said, that Shuddha Sattva and Malina Sattva, these are the reasons for that.
That's why even after realizing and as a Jivan Mukta he is there, or he might have gone to Brahmaloka, even then the one power that Ishvara kept with him is creation, sustenance and delusion, resolution. That a Jiva can have. Though he is having everything, after going to Brahmaloka, he is just like Brahman. Whatever that Brahman which is already there, all the facilities, whatever he is getting, he also will get. But he cannot open his mouth. Why you are doing like this? Why simply keep quiet and enjoy, that's all. So, the one power which has given to the Brahman, who is already there as the creator and the sustenance, who is sustaining, that power cannot be given to the individual who goes to Brahmaloka. So, Chaturmukha Brahma. No, Hiranyagarbha Brahma. No. You see, that Brahmaloka is Hiranyagarbha, that is the combination of all subtle bodies. And he creates the Chaturmukha Brahma, Vishnu and Ishvara for creation, sustenance and dissolution. Oh, he can become one with him and he is the only ruler. He cannot rule. The individual who went to Brahmaloka, he cannot do it, simply enjoy and come back. Or else, if he is want to realize because of some drawback, as a punishment he was sent there. And even then he has to only enjoy the facilities. He cannot open his mouth. Not telling anything. All through the life. Those who go for enjoyment, just doing Aswamedha Yaga, Panchagni Vidya, they come back. But this particular person, because he wanted to realize, he will be there till the death of that particular Brahman who is ruling in the beginning. Go on.
One more little doubt about this point, Swami. Request for clarification.
Sure.
When we study the commentary of Adi Shankaracharya on the Yoga Sutras, it's a sub-commentary. He writes the commentary on the Bhashya of the Asura. He says there, only Ishvara is omniscient. Even the highest jiva will not have the omniscience of Ishvara ever.
Sarvajnatva. That is, it is called Sarvajnatva. That individual cannot possess.
That omniscience.
That omniscience. Here, this word, the Sarvajna, is having two meanings. Sarvam Janati. That particular Ishvara, who is the ruler, he knows about all the words and each and every individual because he is residing in everybody. And he has become everybody. But the individual, he cannot have that Sarvajnatva. That is why he cannot give fruits or liberation to somebody else. Something by yogic power he may do, but that is very limited. And that Ishvara, because he knows the actions of each and everybody, accordingly he gives the results. But he cannot give. That's why it's called Sarvajna. This Sarvajnatva is only with Ishvara. That's why Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hridaya Sejantishti Brahman Sarvabhutanam.
Now the last question about this point. But then we read in the Puranas about the 10 major avatars, 25 minor, and it says the avatar is no other than Ishvara. But we know they have different colors. They have different. Well, Lord Krishna is a Purna avatar, 16 colors. So, question comes: when they incarnate, do they maintain omniscience?
Yes. Otherwise, Lord Krishna cannot show the Vishwarupa to Arjuna. And another illustration I gave, when the Sati was in illusion, Rama showed thousands of forms in the forest to Sati. The Ishvara is no other than Brahman, but the illusion is under his control. So, until and unless If that all-knowing knowledge is not there in him, how can he do so many big actions? Huh? Just in 1 second he kills Putana, in 1 second he kills the Trinavarta, all other people, and just as even Rama went to that forest after killing Putana, where he went? Huh? It was Krishna. That is, which was first he killed a lady, Rama. That is the mother of the other two demons. And nearly, he says, 14,000 demons were there. And Rama appeared in each other and they killed themselves. How is this possible? Hidamba? No. But first, the Vishwamitra takes him to the forest and he kills. And afterwards, his two sons will be coming, and they have having so much of army with them, nearly some 14,000 demons or so, and simply Rama puts a arrow of Maya, and each demon sees another as Rama, and they kill themselves. So, this, until and unless this omniscience is there, the avatara cannot do. He knows everything. Knowingly, Tadaka. And what are the sons? Marich and Suketu and Marich, or Bahu, something. They know everything. But just they do Leela sport. Taking the human form and doing the sport, others cannot understand. He understands himself. And Sri Ramakrishna says, because of the coolness of the devotion of the devotee, the God has taken a form. But by the fire of knowledge, the form dissolves. He says. And it is only, see, though they take any form, say it may be 13 kalas, 14 kalas, 6 kalas, whatever it may be, they are having the sarvajñatva, omniscience, knowing everything, is there with them. It goes.
I said last question. But this would definitely be the last question.
No, that's all right. Go on.
Benefiting others.
Lord Krishna says that he implies his body is not like the body
Of others.
of the mortal. Does not consist from the 5 elements.
Yes.
He says it's an illusory body. I am born to my own Maya. He calls it Yoga Maya. Can Swamiji elaborate on this point?
See, in Tulsi Ramayana and other places, it is cleared first in the prison for Devaki and Vasudeva. He showed the form, big form he showed, with 4 hands, with the mace and with the other things, and the chakra, all these forms. And all of a sudden, he becomes a small child. So he says, Prakata Bhayo. That means he just manifests, but it is full of consciousness. That is why Duryodhana could not bind him. Duryodhana, in the court, he wanted to bind. He could not. And that Jarasandha, he wanted to kill Krishna Many times war was there, and just these Balarama and Krishna, they climbed a big mountain. So thinking that they are there, he puts fire so that they will be burnt to death. But what they did, because of their yoga maya, just they jumped from the mountain to the other place and they went to Dwarka completely. And for others, they see that he is having a body form. The mortals cannot identify. That's why even in Ramayana, during the presence of Rama, only 12 rishis could understand what Rama is. Others could not, he says. What Rama is, others could not. Others used to think that he is only mortal being. That is the illusion. They take the support and they do the sport. So others cannot identify that one. And otherwise, how the Narada can be answered? Narada was sitting somewhere in Himalayas to meditate. Sitting there, he thinks, Lord Krishna is having 16,108 wives, and each wife is having 10 children. How is it possible for a human being? He simply left the meditation there in Himalayas and comes all the way to Dwarka and sees what is happening here. With each wife, one Krishna is there. Oh, then my question is solved, he says. He's taken so many forms. These are, though through illusion, that is why in Advaita we take the example of magician. What all the things magician does, but he is as it is, he is not affected. And he never interferes in the magic. He simply shows the magic. In the same way, here also, the Lord is biggest magician, and for magic he has taken the support of illusion. So, Mayayam sarva sambhavaha. Lokotra Lila Kailyam, that is a Brahma Sutra. But it is there. It is. So now coming to the point.
Whole creation is just a sport.
Sport.
Lokavattu Lila Kaivalyam.
Seeing the existence of Purusha, Pradhana is not functioning, who accepts Ishvara, that is also, he says, because the Ishvara is also supported by Purusha, that is the support for both Purusha and Ishvara. So the followers of Sankhya, they say, we don't make any differentiation. For both in Purushatva, which is common. So it is mere getting or perception, upalabdhi. Just it is, we are seeing, he says. Parascha, upalabdhi matra satta swarupena. By the very existence of the self, as Sankhya says, the Prakriti is in bondage or in liberation. This you have to accept, because the Pradhana is an inert thing. So how an inert thing can act? So it has to take the support of the consciousness, which you call Purusha. So he says, Kevalam mudhata eva Purusha bheda kalpanam vedartha parityagasya, by Sankhya. Like this, he has refuted Sankhya. Multiplicity is not there of the jivas. Only one Brahman is there, all pervading. And Pradhana cannot act by itself. It has to take the support of consciousness. These two things he has clarified. Then why he has to tell multiplicity is not there? The proponent. He says the followers of Sankhya, they do accept that multiplicity is there, and this pradhana, which is an inner thing, is giving liberation to somebody and is giving happiness to somebody else. When multiplicity is not there, how you accept the multiplicity according to Vedas? So he is refuted. Now further, now he is going to Vaisheshika. This is at least Sankhya to some extent. He clearly talks. But this fellow, this logician, he puts so many questions to confuse you. First, that is why the proponent will be putting more questions to him to confuse him. Now we have to slowly understand. You have to pay much attention, then only we can understand what the opponent is speaking or what the proponent is speaking. First we go with the commentary. Ye tu ahur vaisheshikade ichchadaya atma samavayinaha. In Vedanta, we accept that Atman is not attached to anything. Asango hi ayam purushaha. But it reflects on the mind. That's why the mind starts acting. Now, here, the followers of Vaisheshika, they say, there is the combination of the Atman and mind to get a knowledge. This is the main point of controversy between Vedanta and Vaisheshika. We say Atman is not attached. It is just reflecting on the mind. You accept that reflection as I and mine, and you are in duality and worldliness. What he says, when you want to see a part, the mind and Atman are getting united, then only you can see the part. See? So this is the main point of controversy between these two schools of thoughts. Ye tu ahur vaisheshika. What he says? Ichchadaya atma samavayena iti. Tadapi asat. It is not correct. The claim of Vaisheshikas and others, the desire, etc., inhere in the self, too does not hold good. Why? For the impressions that are productive of memory cannot have any inseparable connection with the self that has no location. Mind is limited to an individual, and Atman is all pervading. So, how you can connect your mind with that? What Vaisheshika says, the mind gets united with the self. Because of that you are getting the knowledge. But what he says here, Smriti hetu nam sanskaram apradeshavati atmani asamavayat. Atman is all pervading. It is everywhere. It is equal. So for an impression, how can you connect one particular mind with the all-pervading Atman? Impossible. But if you experience dissolving the mind, removing all the impressions, you can experience the Atman and you also become all-pervading. Because you are one with that. When the river merges in the sea, it becomes sea. No more river. The individual, when merges in the self, is one with Brahman. That's why all the Mahavakyas in Vedanta, they say, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Atma Brahma, etc. Atmana Sanyogacha Smriti Utpattehe Smriti Nimanupapattihi. Now, the opponent says, Vaisheshika, Atmana Sanyogacha. Mind and Atman are getting united. Then only you get knowledge. Smriti Niyama Anupapattesya. Atman is everywhere. And mind is connected to that particular Atman. And then he is getting the knowledge or the remembrance. So once it gets connected with the Atman, the mind, all the remembrances of the past, present and the whatever he has thought over in the future, everything will sprout at once. Then that fellow will become mad. Is it that? Because Atman is all-pervading. And you are connecting your mind with the Atman. You say, then only you get the impression. When once it's connected, the Atman is all-pervading and all-knowing. And your mind is connected to that. So this mind also will become all-knowing. So that all the remembrance at once it comes into the mind. And he becomes a madcap. So he says, Smriti Nimanupapattihi. There will be no particular rule when he gets that remembrance. For the impressions that are productive, memory cannot have any inseparable connection with the self that has no location, because it is all-pervading. Again, if it is said that the memory begins with the union of the self with the mind, there is no possibility of having a definite rule regarding memory. It raises functions, etc. Or there is possibility of all kinds of memory raising simultaneously. Then what will happen to that individual? Imagine. If a particular individual constantly thinks on one thing, one particular thing, we see that he becoming insane. Insane? He becomes mad. Constantly, but don't connect that relative thought to the thinking of Atman. That he is meditating on an inert thing. Here you are meditating on the consciousness. So constantly thinking of the consciousness, you will never go mad. But constantly thinking of the objects, one thought, continuously you think for many days, you won't get sleep. So finally what happens? That you,
Swami, here there is a refutation of the view of the Vaisheshika opponent. Vaisheshika opponent says that the mind and the Atman get united. And he relates the samskaras somehow to the Atman. But Swamiji said that since the Atman is all pervading, means it does not have a place, it's beyond time and space. While the mind is local. Because in Advaita Vedanta, the size of the mind is like the size of the body.
No, it is subtle, they accept. It is subtle, mind is subtle. No, mind is, yes, you are correct. Mind is not the mind is of the size of the body. Yes, they do accept. But the Visishtadvaita accepts as subtle. That is not correct.
So here we have the view of Advaita Vedanta versus the view of Vaisheshika. Now, in a nutshell, Swamiji, what is the theory of perception of Advaita Vedanta? How does the mind perceive external objects?
This, in our previous talks also, we have explained. See, there is a pond.
There is a
Pond. And there is a field. You wanted to take the water of the pond to the field. So, you dig a canal. Water is there in the pond. Water is there in the canal. Water is there in the field. But what you say, that is field water. This is canal water, this is pond water. Water is the same. In the same way, inside consciousness is there, outside consciousness is there. The inside consciousness gets contact with the outside consciousness, and immediately on that particular consciousness, which is covered by the object, you superimpose the name and form of that particular object. In that way, you are getting the impressions of the objects. But actually what you are doing, in this connection, another thing also I told, first we superimpose a rope on Atman, then we superimpose snake on the rope. Oneness is there, only one Atman, one consciousness. Where from you will get the rope? So, you have seen the rope, the limited consciousness that is covered by the rope. On that, you have superimposed the name and rope of the rope. Then again you are superimposing a snake on that. So, he always accepts only oneness. But the impressions which you are having in the mind, that are many, that's why he simply says you evacuate the mind. So your point is clear?
Yes, Swamiji, just one more little thing. According to the theory of perception of Advaita Vedanta, does the mind ever reaches out and goes out actually, or it stays always within?
Two theories are there. We hear a sound. Now we see the fireworks. You see the firework first, afterwards you hear the sound. So this sound has travelled to you. And here they say the consciousness is coming through the senses out. Mind is not coming.
Not the mind.
Not the consciousness. So the consciousness first covers the particular object. On that object, you again superimpose the name and form, and that impression you are taking inside. So they say the whole world is within you, it is not outside.
So the mind always stays with it.
With it. And it is the experiencer because it is connected with the I and mind. That is the creation of the individual. That's why he is in bondage. This is I, this is mine. And we need not disturb the creation of the God. It is as it is. So what finally we can do? We have to remove our I and mind, and we are at peace. Our own creation. Jiva Srishti. This we have explained previously also. That is, now I forgot, you see, regarding the sound. Two theories are there. Some they say it comes, some they say the mind goes. Because the eyes goes to a particular thing and then only we see. They say so. Actually, the light from within goes to the object. The object take a toppled down impression in the retina, etc. That's what we are seeing. But some theories are there regarding the sound and seeing. They say the mind or sound, it goes out, but some say they come. But the Vedanta says everything is within the mind. That is the theory of others, not the theory of Vedanta. Intelligence, happiness, sorrow, desire, malice, effort, virtue and vice, these impressions are these 9 particular qualities the Vaisheshika accepts. In each they stay restricted to one particular person. All these, they stay in one particular person. For their restriction, he accepts many souls. Vaisheshika, the follower is a, just we can say the another branch of logic. They go together. He is accepting 9 particular qualities. That is in one particular individual. That is why he is accepting more individuals, many souls. Now, the proponent is asking the opponent Vaisheshika. You say the Atman is getting connected with the mind to know an object. In this particular point, we are having some questions. Proponent is asking. The intellects, etc., are their qualities as persuaded or they are pervading the whole Atman or not, the intellect, etc., which you are telling, is it pervading the whole Atman? Because you accept the union of mind and Atman. So yoga, combination of the two objects limited to a particular place. Now you are telling mind is connected to the Atman. So this connection is limited to a particular place, or that is the first question. Or the knowledge of seeing a part in a particular place through mind means his knowledge should be omniscient, because the self is all pervading. Whenever he sees the part, you say the mind is getting connected with the Atman. So the mind has become one with the Atman. Just like the self, he should have omniscient knowledge. Sarvagya, all-knowing, because intelligence is pervading with the Atman. Atman is everywhere. Not only this, he should feel the happiness immediately if he sees a part. As you say, mind gets connected with the Atman. So the mind has become all-pervading. And the all-pervading Atman is only bliss absolute. So as soon as you see a part, you should get the absolute bliss. See? Now the proponent is asking the opponent. He says, that is not correct. Tadapi asat. What you say, mind getting united with the Atman, is not correct. Why? If it is held, the memory begins with the union of the self with the mind, there is no possibility of having a definite rule regarding memory. It is not in a particular place, it is not in a particular time. The all-pervading Atman, it is getting united. So, only one memory is coming out, or all the memories are coming out. There is no possibility of having a definite rule regarding memory, or there is a possibility of all kinds of memory raising simultaneously. Here, we have to understand another point. The followers of non-duality, they don't accept any quality in Atman. But they see the Atman is a substance supported by itself, having its own luminosity. It is not taking the support of anything, but it is giving light to everything. That is the theory of the non-dualists. But here he says, a thing which is unattached, asanga, he says, some connection is there. So the main point of refutation is that there is no connection between the mind and Atman. If you say connection is there, by that you are having the knowledge or the remembrance. So, all the knowledge you should get at a time, all the bliss you should get at a time, or all the remembrances you should get at a time. You are not getting anything. Then how you say the mind is getting attached to the is getting united with the Atman. Then only one gets the, all right. Now, you go a little further. You are sleeping. Then your mind is not getting attached to any object. Is it so? Is it correct or not? In your deep sleep, mind is not getting united with any object. So, then how do you say, I slept well, I don't know anything? According to your theory, you should not get sleep. Vaisheshika's theory.
According to Vaisheshika, there are many Atmans,
No. Yes, they do accept many Atmas.
and many minds, or one.
Many minds.
So what does it mean that the mind is connected to the Atman? What is the meaning?
See, mind is not attached. But if once it gets connected with that, then only he gets the knowledge, he says. To see a part, what we say in the waking state, the Atman is reflecting on the mind starts acting, and it gets the impression of the part. The impression is only in the mind. But what he says, the mind is getting united with the Atman, then only he gets the knowledge of the part. And
So what happens when the mind is not connected with the Atman? According to Vaisheshika.
Vaisheshika is not accepting that one. He says, that's why I am asking you, what you are doing in your sleep. Let us take the Vaisheshika is correct. And an individual is sleeping. His mind is not working. He slept well. He don't know anything. And if you say, when you get the knowledge only when mind is connected to the Atman, when the mind is not connected in deep sleep, how you got that knowledge? So, it is contradictory what he says.
Swamiji, question regarding Shankya,
Sankhya.
regarding the theory of perception of Shankya.
Hmm.
Would it be true to say that within the philosophy system of Shankya, the mind is all pervading?
That I wrote somewhere, but now I forgot. Mind, according to Sankhya. Mind, according to non-duality, it is pervading the whole body. The Vasishtadvaita of Ramanuja, he says it is subtle. And this Nyaya and Vaisheshika, that I think it is, they say it is limited or unlimited, I forgot. I wrote somewhere. You can see. Mind according to Sankhya in Google. Yes. This we will let you know later on.
Swamiji, I was just discussing with Swamiji in this connection. There are two scriptures, texts. One is Sarva Siddhanta Sangraha written by Shankaracharya itself, and there was one 16th century scholar named Appaya Dikshit who has written Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha, who has compiled all the different school of thoughts in Vedanta also. Sometimes when you read through the Bhashyas or when you are reading through the Prakarana Granthas, you feel that they are saying some different things. So they have compiled all these things and explained those things. So that's what I was discussing with Swamiji. One is written by Shankaracharya itself, it is called Sarva Siddhanta Sangraha, the other one is Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha by Apray Dikshit from 16th century. It is called.
I- If you read it, he says you will not be having so many doubts.
No, it's not
Doubts
the
will
what I want to say, but
better
lot
to
of
read, he
things are
says.
clarified in this.
More
So
clear.
sometimes when you are going through even Vedanta, you will feel that some scholar is saying Nana Jivavada, that the Jiva is different in each body. Sometimes it says Eka Jivavada in Panchadashi also and all these things. So it is compiled in those texts and it is explained very clearly.
No, if we take completely this support of scriptures, only one self is there. And beside this self, whatever is there, it is unreal. That is what non-duality says. But how far we have come here, we have to note it down. వాళ్ళంతా మూడో నాలుగా This is 403, last but one para. Ade nache bhinna jat jnanam, we have to start.